Welcome back to Limitless TV. So many of us are trading our time for money. Not a very good trade, but how do you get out of that? All right, friends, Steve and Michael Miller here, and we're going to talk about how you stop trading your time for money. Look, I understand we all start off in life, and oftentimes, if you're like me anyway, when you're 15 years old, you get your first job, and you're so excited because you're going to finally be able to earn your own money, right? You're not dependent on your parents necessarily for everything anymore. You're still living at their home, and they're still eating their food, but you can start creating a little bit of yourself. And we're taught that the best way to do that is to go get a job. Right? Go get a job. Now, look, I don't want to spell out too many cliches here, but I have to say this one. You've probably heard it many, many times before. What is a job? A job, a J-O-B. It actually means being just over broke. But almost every job out there, especially the ones that you get as you're first getting into the workplace, are trading your time, your hours. Right? You put in the time, you put in the hours, and you're going to get paid for that. So I want to talk about a little bit of a different scenario. As a matter of fact, I want to talk about how our country was founded, because our country wasn't founded on this concept of trading time for dollars, right? Our country was founded on a concept of entrepreneurship. Now that's a word. If you haven't ever experienced that word in your own life, entrepreneurship, then let me define it for you real quick. What that really means, that means not just being your own boss, not just working for yourself. So if you want to get a really good book that talks about this, there's a book that's called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And he actually talks about these different quadrants, right? These different areas where you can make money, where you can move from just being employed to investing and doing the things that are best for you. He actually talks about the difference between being self-employed and owning a business, right? And this is what I'm going to talk about. Being self-employed, although it's great, although it's something that I think a lot of people are looking for, it's still a job. You're just owning that job, right? In a normal situation, you're working a job for someone else who owns that job, but you're working it for them. They're actually a business owner, which is where you want to get to. But sometimes we take that first step of owning the job on our own, but we're still trading our time for money. So we have to get into this realm of true entrepreneurship, which is where we own the business. Where we own the business, not just the job. And when you own the business, you can take yourself out of it and it still produces for you, right? It still does for you what you're really looking for, which is it creates more and more and more wealth. So I want to talk about, again, go back to the founding of our country and this idea of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is wonderful. Entrepreneurship is what our country was founded on. See, we had this group of individuals that understood this concept of freedom, this concept of liberty. And back in the day, as it was set up before, as we left the mother country, as we left England and other countries, we came here to America, our forefathers came here to America to create more freedom, to create more liberty, to be able to choose for themselves, to create not just more freedom in this ethereal sense, but also they wanted to control their time. They recognized that their time was their most valuable resource, and instead of being subject to somebody else's whims, somebody else's desires, somebody else's dreams even, they wanted to be able to create their own dreams. They wanted to create a space where they could enroll other people in their dreams as well, and be able to grow that outside of just themselves. See, one of the realities that I know is any massive dream, any big idea is going to only grow if you're willing to bring in other people's resources. A business idea will only ever grow beyond yourself when you're willing to get outside of yourself. Get outside of this idea of being self-employed to the idea of owning a business that runs with or without you. So if you want to stop trading your time for money, if you want to get out of the rat race, as it were, and as so many people talk about, really what you need to do is embrace this idea of entrepreneurship. Take your ideas, instead of thinking to yourself, how can I turn that idea into a business that I work and that I own and where I do everything? Begin to have the thoughts of, how do I offload some of this? How do I get other people who are maybe more talented in a specific way to take on a portion of that? How do I partner with other people who bring their talents to the table that can grow and expand this idea even faster? Instead of being married to it, instead of getting in there and feeling like we have to do everything, stop trading your time for money and begin trading your ideas, your thought patterns, your systems that you create. Start trading those things for money, because those things, with or without you, continue to move forward. So let's take this another step. How do you apply what we're learning right now with trading your time for money or not trading your time for money into the real estate arena? See, the reality is that so many people jump into real estate thinking, I've got to do it all myself. And you've probably heard Kris and I say this before, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it again. If you want something done right, don't do it yourself. That actually plays directly into this idea of never again trading your time for money, right? So what you want to do in real estate is you want to make sure that you've got the proper team in place. You've got people to go to work for you. You've got your property managers. Instead of managing it all yourself, trust me, I've done some of that. I understand this whole idea of wanting to control it, right? We think that if we do it, we'll do it best. But the reality is unless you've done it hundreds of times or more, chances are you're still going to screw it up, right? So let's relinquish the control for a moment. Let's seek out experts in their fields, and let's allow them to do what they do best while we do what we do best. So in real estate, stop trading your time for money. In your real estate investing, stop trading your time for money. Instead, surround yourself with a power team. Go out to the individual that's awesome at mortgages. Go out to the individual that's awesome at finding homes. Go out to that individual who is awesome at property management and work with them. Be willing to pay them, because I will tell you right now, although it seems counterintuitive to give up money to earn more, if you're giving it up to the right people who are experts in what they do, and you're no longer just trading your time for that money, but you're starting to trade other people's expertise for the proper money and incentivizing them the right way, you'll find that your wealth will grow even more in the real estate that you're doing. All right, well, thanks for watching. If you are looking for more information about how to stop trading your time for money, that's one of the things that Kris and I love working with people on, is helping them to truly create a real game plan of how they can start creating wealth outside of just their own hours. If you're interested in that, go ahead and click on the links in the description below. And otherwise, go ahead and subscribe. Come and join us for some more. We'll talk to you tomorrow.